Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 action film SAS Red Notice, a film that is directed by Magnus Martens and it stars Sam Heughan, Ruby Rose, Andy Serkis, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hooper, Noel Clark and Tom Wilkinson. Now this film focuses on a terrorist act, if you like, in London. Ruby Rose's crew are essentially betrayed by the British government. They're basically hired by the British government, the mercenaries, to kind of do these dirty jobs around the world, and they are actually filmed while they are doing one of these despicable acts, war crimes you could call them, by someone on a mobile phone. It is leaked to the press, and then there is outrage, and the British government have no choice really but to take them down, even though that they've actively paid these mercenaries to work for them. So Ruby Rose, who plays the daughter of Tom Wilkinson, decides she's not going to stand for this and decides to take over the underground channel tunnel train on its way to Paris. However, what she doesn't plan for is Sam Heughan's character, Tom, who is an SAS operative, who is on this train with his girlfriend that he's taken to Paris to propose to. And it is up to him to basically take down these mercenary stroke terrorists before it's too late. Right, what are my thoughts on SAS Red Notice? Well, I'm a little bit mixed on this one. We'll go through some of the good stuff first. The action scenes were pretty well put together. Decent budget here, some competent action scenes throughout really, you know, they were pretty nicely put together. The setup was pretty good. I liked the start of the film where you see these mercenaries going to this village to try and get them to leave basically because they want to put this oil pipeline through or something like that, and they won't, so they have to kill them all. You know, so I liked the setup. I liked the initial SAS team going in and trying to take down these mercenaries in London. And then, for me, it started going downhill, this film, as soon as we got on the train. It felt like Under Siege 2, basically. No other way to put it. It felt like a Steven Seagal film. It felt like a cheap Die Hard film, Die Hard on a train. And it never really recovered from that, in my opinion. It was just, from that point on, it was just very, very by the numbers, very, very generic, and incredibly predictable. The humour's misplaced here as well. Some of the humour just didn't hit for me at all. It felt very awkward. They try occasionally to be funny in this. And Andy Serkis, I mean, there's a lot of people in this film massively miscast. Let's start with Ruby Rose. Oh, bless Ruby Rose. She's had a rough time with Batwoman. She's constantly getting criticised for her acting, but she doesn't do herself any favours with her performance in this film. It's bad. It's shockingly bad. She genuinely is very, very poor in regards to acting here. And you're supposed to buy her as this badass mercenary, and she just looks like she needs a really good meal. She's skin and bone, and you see her taking down these, you know, bulky SAS operatives and stuff. It's bollocks. I cannot buy it. I cannot buy it. And she is massively miscast in this film, unfortunately. As is Andy Serkis. Now, Andy Serkis, I think, is an incredible actor stroke performer. He's just incredible. He's done some incredible performances over the years. It's odd casting here. He plays this bastard, really, who's kind of in charge of these SAS troops, but he's also got a vested interest because he used to hire these mercenaries to do these jobs for the UK government. So he needs them taken out. So he plays this guy that's constantly kind of cracking jokes, but he's also a bad guy, really, in many ways. Just very, very unfocused character. And Noel Clark. Now, for those of you who don't know who Noel Clark is, he was in Doctor Who when it first came back in 2005 as Mickey. He was a bad actor then. He hasn't improved. He again is like one of these senior officers with the SAS, and he looks about 25. I know he's probably not. He's probably closer to 40, but he just does not suit the part, and his performance is pretty poor as well. Didn't buy it. So it's littered with unconvincing performances here by many of the characters who were playing like these military badasses, and I didn't buy it. Now, Sam Hugan, who plays like the main protagonist here, he's okay, he's believable. You know, many of the military stuff you see in it, you know, I'm sure if there's someone who watches this film from the military would be absolutely laughing out loud, crying with laughter at the, you know, some of the military stuff in this. But this is I think it's based on an Andy McNab book, I think. So I don't know how close it is to the book, or how fantasized it is by Andy McNab. But it feels unbelievable. But you know, to some degree, you kind of believe a lot of the sequences in it as well. So this is a bit of an odd one. It's a competent British action flick, is what I would say. But it kind of reverts to a typical Die Hard on a train flick at the same time. And it's too long. It's almost 2 hours too long, so it goes on for too long as well. But it's competent, it's watchable. It's one of those films you could put on a Friday night with open a few cans of beers, order a pizza, and you'll probably find it entertaining enough. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Definitely not the best action film you're going to see this year or for the last few years. But it is certainly watchable, I suppose. But it is certainly littered with a few problems. So that's my review for SAS Red Notice. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, everybody. And of course, I will be back with more reviews and content on the channel very soon.